I'd like to call the meeting to order on the Community Engagement Commission meeting for Wednesday, November 16th, 2022 at 6 p.m. So, roll call. Jennifer Kasaka. Present. Bill Norman.
Present.
Mark Sava.
Here.
Terry Peters is asked to be excused. I'm going to assume that Aaron and Summer are not going to come, and will excuse them, and if they come, then we'll revisit it and put them in attendance.
I make a motion that we excuse Aaron, Sonny, and Terry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, going to item number 3, approvals. Minute meetings of October 19th, 2022. So I have this one correction, and that's on page 1, roll call. Position number 2, it says Bill Normal, and if we could change that to Norman and just change the L to an N. Is that okay, Bill?
That's just fine. I'm used to it though.
That's ironic in light of an email I sent to Bill earlier today.
Yes.
Okay, and were there any other corrections?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda or the minutes after we change Bill Normal to Bill Norman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I ask that we,
There we go.
oh, okay. The person hasn't made Summer Darrell is here in attendance. Welcome, Summer.
Thank you. I thought it was the right idea to walk today.
Workshop meeting minutes from November 10th have not been completed, and I ask that we defer those to the December.
I was wondering where were they? Okay. Okay, that's fine.
So we need to close. Any public comments? You can hear at the Zoom and no one's in attendance. Okay. No public comment. General business, CEC roles and mission statements. Open for discussion. Okay, I'll go ahead and open it up for some discussion. So initially, when I read this on the work that Aaron and Summer had completed, I did just do some minor modifications. So typically, you put the enabling legislation. I did move that up front, and that was primarily, I looked at other plans that the city of Liberty Lake had done, and sort of went with that consistency. But also, I asked David, I said, well, is there a pattern or a format to follow so that we know that if we are consistent or not? And to my understanding, there was not. Okay, so we could put the enabling legislation any place then? Is that?
So very much open-ended. It's whatever you
Okay.
wish to do.
Okay.
As a group,
Okay. So then I looked at the things that were the mission statement. Of course, I was going off of other plans the city has done. And they seem to put in their mission statement up front, but we sort of, in many ways, we have like 3 mission statements. We can, I think, leave it as is, the combination of those, or we can pick from one and just pick the one that best suits us. So I'd like to open up discussion on that. What everybody thinks. Or any preference.
My mic isn't on, but,
Okay.
I like the different ones. I think it just gets a little deeper each time, so I'm fine with that format and for having different things for different purposes.
I think your mic is on.
The light's not on. I just turned it on.
Just get a little closer. I was hearing a higher volume. You were closer.
Okay. It's not great, but I like that. Yeah, so I like the different, I know that it seems like we have a few, but I kind of like that it just gets a little deeper each time. My take.
Okay, yeah, I like that too, and I thought that. So anyway, we can, basically that was some of my suggestions, was that, and then leaving the CEC goals and objectives as is. And no revisions there that I thought would make it enhance it any more than that. But those were just my comments. Any other comments?
Do we have number 7 blank for a reason? Is that just to add one more, or is that where you hit return?
It's where I hit return. I forgot to
Fair enough.
delete it.
The mystery.
Well, the one thing too on this is that we are to evaluate mission statement and associated goals or objectives. And so this is more of a living document. If we feel like we need to add more, we can.
Yeah.
Even
We can
I
add it on
think it's
number
fine as it is.
okay. And so,
Sammy and, I think Sammy and Aaron put their heart into it and did a great job investigating it. I think we ought to go by that, we put together, because I think it all.
Yeah, you built it all. We just shaved a little off, and then did Bill's thing survive still?
yeah, so Bill's is in
Yeah.
paragraph number 3.
Great.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're going to go with,
Do you want to ask Bill to,
oh, yes, Bill, I'm sorry. Bill, do you have any discussion?
No, actually, I was very pleased with the refinements that you made, Robin. I think this is excellent.
be able to hear that?
I'm sorry, I
He
was
thinks
unable.
He was pleased with your,
Bill, try that again.
Yes, I said that I was really pleased with the refinements that Robin made. I think this is a fine document.
Okay, thank you.
and if we're going to be final, I think number 3 needs a bold A and get rid of that 7, and I'm happy as a clam.
Thank you. Anything to make you happy.
Thanks.
Okay, so I think that we need to, we'll make a motion that we accept, Jennifer, I wanna, what, do you have any?
Oh, we were just talking
Evaluate.
of maybe that evaluate the mission statement, also needs to be in bold.
Otherwise, it's just a sad.
Okay, yeah, okay, let's go with that. Evaluate the mission.
Jennifer, though. I saw it, but said nothing.
So it's just about, okay, so we're gonna remove, we'll go with the revised copies, or, the ones that, okay. And then we'll remove that typo of number 7, and then we'll bold the evaluate the mission statement on item and note number, goal number 6.
And the
And
A
the
on
A.
3.
And then what, I'm sorry.
Number 3, analyze with a bold A.
Oh, yes, And number 3,
And if you
analyze.
can make them all spell something with the first letter, that would probably, you don't have to go that.
Okay, thank you.
Engagement.
Okay, with those corrections, I'm gonna make a motion.
Basically, motion of which version of this you want to accept as possibly amended.
Favorite draft. So we'll go with the current draft, okay, all good.
What do you mean by current draft?
The current draft in front of this.
You have two versions.
The current revised draft.
We're gonna go with the current revised draft with the addition of goal number 3, bolding the A and analyze, and bolding in goal 6, evaluate the mission statement, and removing the typo number 7.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We did it. Motion carries, you guys. After months on that, congratulations. If I could high five you, I would, but I am. High fiving everybody. So the next item on the agenda is the CEC bylaws. So one of the things that the ordinance did say that was one of our duties was to develop the CEC bylaws. So, David, I believe that the Parks and Rec or Open Space Commission, they adopted.
Yes, I asked for clarification on that from Jim Camp. I said, when you adopted your group's bylaws or ordinance for your bylaws, what did you take off? And she said they accepted the ordinance as is, including the title of the ordinance, including the item at the end saying it was passed by the city council on whatever date, including the signatures at the end by whoever the mayor was at the time and the city clerk at the time. Jen says it's as simple as that for her group. So that's an option for you. Another option is the planning commission has about a 20-page document that they created on their own and probably spent some time on that. So the decision is up to, again, you as the group.
Robin, this is Bill Norman. Can you hear me?
Yes, Bill.
One of the things
And
that
Bill, I'll repeat because I don't think it's coming over on the microphone too well.
all right. One of the things that I think I noticed was that the ordinance establishing the Parks and Recreation Commission was much more detailed and defined than the ordinance that established the Planning Commission. And I feel like the ordinance that created the Community Engagement Commission is like the one that created the Parks and Recreation Commission. It is quite detailed and specific, creating limitations and parameters. If my perception is correct, I think we would save time and angst by just accepting the ordinance as our bylaws rather than trying to recreate them. I feel like the Planning Commission had to do what they did because they didn't have much detail in the ordinance.
Okay, just to repeat for Tate's note-taking services, in case you didn't get that, Tate. Bill felt that the ordinance for Parks and Recreation was well detailed. The one for the Planning Commission, creating that group, was not as well detailed, which Bill felt was causing a need for that one to be written out in more detail for their bylaws. And he feels the Parks and Arts ordinance is similar in detail to the one creating the CEC group. And Bill was advocating for adopting the ordinance for the bylaws. Did I summarize that correctly, Bill?
Yeah.
I totally agree with Bill.
Second minute. I do have a quick question though. If we need to change this, how set in stone, what's the frame, what does it matter? if we do find something along the lines that we need to change, what's the process there?
We should be able to do that, shouldn't we,
We
David?
had a motion at a future meeting and
Yep.
second and approved.
I make a motion that we currently accept ordinance number 277 as our bylaws for the CEC currently.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye from Bill.
Okay. All those opposed? Motion carries. Bylaws will be in ordinance
Wow.
number 277.
Did you say?
Said speeding along.
Going next to the number 6, discussions. So, the Zen City demonstration. David was able to talk to the Zen City vendors, and we had a Zoom meeting on November the 10th. It was a demonstration. I know that David, you also got links to that, and I don't know if you were able to
I
see
watched it, I watched the entire, presentation, thank you.
Yeah. So, again, though, I still think an important portion of this discussion is to have Aaron. I just cannot see going into great detail on this discussion, period.
I don't think we ought to go into any detail anyway, because I'm still gonna hold up what I said the other night. They did not tell us how we are going to be able to implement and get more people involved in any survey that we do, and that's where we need our help. And you know, because they've got a great, it's after the fact, it's after we get the survey out there and they get the information in. They have great information, you know, background information, but for us to go out, it's back, you know, he made one comment that I just really rolled my eyes, a mailing. Oh, we've never thought about that, you know, and, you know, just a couple things like that. I was just a little disappointed in the fact that he would not answer my question when I asked him, how do we engage ourselves with our community? How do we get more people involved in it? And he didn't have an answer for us. Just kept on saying, well, we can get this information and we can do this, this and this. So that's just me, my personal opinion about it.
Yeah, I hear you, Mark, and I wonder if that's not a separate thing for us to address, because personally, I thought that was the best platform. I thought that was.
Oh, I'm not arguing the platform
Sure,
itself.
sure, I
I'm
can
just saying, you
Yep.
know, I can't remember about the other ones either, so I'm not casting stones just at him. And maybe
Sure.
all the other
No.
4 were the same way. I can't remember because it's a
It-
blur now with the other 3, you know, I'd like to get those back on, David. Do we have a chance that we can look at those to review?
Yeah, let me update that real quick. I spoke to Robin about this 45 minutes ago. I am planning to, in fact, I have set up another Zoom demo with Civic Ready, which was the presentation you had, I think, in July, that we were not able to record. So I contacted those folks. I said, could you give me another standard demo like you did before? I will record it. I will send it out to you folks. I think I'm doing this Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And I'll send out a link. If any of you have time and want to sit down on that, you're free to. But I will be recording that and send it off to you. I'm going to be sending you a package list of that recording along with the other couple that you've
Good.
seen during the recordings of these meetings. Now it's going to look like they look on the screen here with 5 camera angles. It won't be the Zoom screen. Well, except for maybe at the top if that's recorded as well. But the verbal content will be there.
That's what we need. is just-
And I'm gonna go through and let you know which portions of those meetings to start the viewing at, and which part to end at. And I'm, like I said, I'm gonna give you a full package. I don't wanna piece these things out to you. So that's why I'm gonna wait until sometime Tuesday afternoon or later, maybe Wednesday. To give you that full group. They have also given me a kind of a short prepackaged summary from that recording. Or from that company I'll be getting the recording from on Tuesday. So I'll be including that for you as well. And I'll probably also include the recording from last Thursday, again, so you have them all together.
Sure, that'd be great. And I think before we go any farther, I think we better review ourselves with all.
And that's why I just want to add this at this point, that maybe we consider that the other ones, from my memory, did have an outreach portion that was bigger. But the platform here was very interesting. So maybe there is something where we're doing two separate things, because this to me was very robust and very engaging. So I just want to put that out there, that maybe it isn't that this is a one size fits all, and maybe we take pieces of things if that's appropriate. So I just want to throw that in the mix.
Sure.
I think we've talked about this before, but is there like a spreadsheet available that kind of puts these together?
Robin's not your whiteboard.
I know, but no. I know, I really.
Use your whiteboard and your dot.
I know, flip charts, I know, I'm
Turn on platform capabilities.
I wish we could have that option, but we did do the whiteboard / flip chart, so we could rank and prioritize.
That sounds like Excel to me.
Huh?
Sounds like Excel to me. That sounds like a little spreadsheet.
Yeah,
But it's on a white-
but it's,
Or little platform right
but
there.
it's an interactive in real time, okay,
Ooh.
now, when you do that, right?
Yes, yeah.
So, I don't know if, do we have a transferable whiteboard? I know we have one over there that we just don't, do we?
I'm not sure, ask around.
Because I do agree with the group. I talked about this with David. I think we need criteria, sets of criteria, standards, and then each cross the vendors, so we can talk about each one in each little square. And we get to do interaction among ourselves and move the numbers around on ranking and have a thoughtful discussion.
Well, can David put an Excel spreadsheet up on his computer so that it's up here and then you can just write it and be interactive?
Well, that could be another option too.
Let me take one step back from this area of conversation. You've seen, well, the group has seen, Jennifer's been here for like one of those, Bill has been around for one. You've seen, I think, 4 different services at this point. I think those of you who've been here a while have seen at least 3, maybe all 4 very different services. So before you think about how do they rank in certain areas, you may want to think about, what do you think we need to have? What are the priorities? What do you as a resident want to have to engage with that you think your next door neighbors, your neighborhood would make use of? Rather than see, oh yeah, this company did well in this and this and this, this other company had this interesting feature. But maybe it's time to start thinking about what is really useful for Liberty Lake citizens.
Well, that's the criteria that we need to develop together on the whiteboard and flip chart.
Sounds like homework.
I was just thinking.
What's your top 10, Mark? Write down your top 10 and
Yeah,
show up with it.
exactly, yeah.
Or send it in.
You know, I started out with this process, getting the first vendor doing a demo for me late last spring. And the thing in my head was, I want something where people can go to like the movies in the park and events in the park. You can have a thing on the screen and ask questions, and people can answer their responses on their cell phone or respond to surveys during a city council meeting or something. And I was kind of stuck in that. But as I saw some of these other capabilities from other services, I'm like, oh, that's a possibility, and that's a possibility. And as Terry kind of indicated Thursday, we have not yet found one thing that does all of it. And I don't know that there is one that does all of them.
Well,
So
that's
what
right,
are
yeah.
your priorities of what you want to see and which one is doing it the best?
And if they're not doing something, what's the alternative for that piece, perhaps?
Right.
Or
Yeah,
those pieces that are missing, so
And,
we can get to the end quickly.
and I think Mark kind of addressed some of this with me in a conversation too a few days ago.
Yeah. So I would encourage you to consider that. I have some concerns about establishing criteria after seeing all of the demonstrations.
okay.
But if that helps you reach consensus, then I think it's a worthwhile exercise.
I think a list of what we're missing, what you haven't seen so far would be helpful. I mean, because a lot of them do have similar things. So I mean, yeah, if that's a list of your top 10, I mean, just to address your point, if what we feel is missing or we haven't seen yet, what are those things?
Well, like, I mean, like you pointed out, I've only really seen one of these is, yeah, if we can decide what we're missing from one, if we can then reach back out to the platform that we can have the most, if they have the capability to add on some of these things that we're missing, that we're seeing in other platforms. Which I don't know. if they are.
And you may start generating ideas anew, since some of you have been over this for several months at this point. It's common to kind of forget some things, let some things fall through the mental cracks. But once I get this list together, and some of you can take a time within a matter of a few days to reorient or orient yourself for the first time of, oh, they do this, they do that. This one does it better than the other one. And that can probably help get your ideas thinking, I think.
Any other thoughts? Okay. So you're gonna start off the list, or do you want us to just,
At this point, I will let you folks decide what kind of a list you want.
okay,
Maybe we need to start off with what we would want, and then we can start checking boxes of whether or not the different platforms will address those needs.
So
Not even a ranking, just like a, this does it, this does it, this does it, this doesn't, this doesn't, this doesn't.
yeah, I might suggest that you, since you've adopted the ordinance as your bylaws, and even if you wouldn't have done that, I might suggest that you start with the ordinance here and then use that to kind of narrow down and create some of those criteria that you just mentioned.
okay. Okay. So we'll continue this discussion then for December's meeting.
And then the next one.
You can.
You're right. This will, I'll just put continue to be,
TBC.
yes, okay.
But are we getting a master list from you, from the ones we've done?
Oh, yeah, we send you a link of, for the most part, those are on the city's YouTube channel right now, but I'm going to give you the extra step of, here's where to start, rather than searching through.
Just to catch everyone up.
Plus, like I said, a redo of the one we did not record before.
I think that'd be good, because you know what, from the first one that we'd seen X number of months ago to now, it's like, I couldn't give a fair critique
Exactly.
with any criteria. Okay. 6B, city podcast ideas.
And this is just an opportunity. I wanted to know if, since you were introduced to this idea here about a month ago, have any other ideas popped into your head as far as topics? And Bill sent me a couple of good ones by email, like the next day or two. And Bill, I don't know if you remember what you sent me, but if you do, would you care to share those with the group?
Sure. Give me just a second to call them up here. Excuse me. I think I can find them.
He came up with some that I would not have thought of, but I thought were really good.
Okay. Let me look here. Go ahead and I'll pipe up as soon as I locate them in my file here.
Well, I'll speak for Bill because I was the recipient of his words. He suggested a show each on each of the districts of the city, the river district, et cetera, et cetera. What are those neighborhoods like? What makes them distinctive? Get some residents from those areas and just share about what life is like in each parts of Liberty Lake. I would not have thought of that one. That's like 2 months worth of shows already.
That's more like 4 months worth of shows, because you got River District, you've got
Well,
Rocky
finish it,
Hill,
finish
you've
it.
got Legacy Ridge, you've got the lake itself, you've got the ghetto. You've got quite a few,
Yeah.
and if you're covering each one on a podcast, yeah, that's about.
Or if they're individual segments on a longer episode, or they're one segment per episode. I mean, I guess my thoughts on this, I'm excited about it. I genuinely am a fan of podcasts and I am excited about what that could mean for engagement here. I like the idea of just capturing as much as we can and cutting it together nicely and having a evolving format. You know, that's kind of my take on it. Whatever's fun and interesting and helpful.
Keep it fun
Yeah.
and
And
interactive.
to
That's
be
the
honest,
key thing.
short.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the episodes necessarily have to be short, but
No.
shorter segments. Because I don't know that I would want to listen to 30 minutes about the River District. I mean, it might get like really interesting and there might be some crazy thing going on. But
You never know.
you know, yeah, I'm saying, who knows what it will do, but I think the sooner we start just grabbing stuff and figuring out how we're gonna do it, what the equipment is, who's doing it, what we're doing, and where it's going and how it's going out there, that would be exciting for me.
Well, who's doing it? It's probably gonna be a, city employee, right? Mark? Was that between that and the, academy?
Yeah, so for the podcast specifically, David's going to be the podcast host.
Okay.
And then depending on what the topic is, you may have guests or,
Sure,
you know, others, yeah.
Mark will be my band leader, by the way.
I feel like you might be a producer and I'm just.
And then how about,
Yeah, with the noise maker.
Yeah.
oh, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense. I like that idea, Bill, that's awesome, that's awesome.
Thanks.
That's bringing, that's also kind of sort of bringing the community together, because right now, if you think about it, Tratina, River District, Legacy, they all think that they aren't part of Liberty Lake per se, because they live up on the hill, they live across the freeway. I think Kramer Parkway is gonna bring that River District very much together, but in the meantime, it's up to us to, hey, come on, we're all one. We do have a council person that lives over there, and he's one that always brings up, we at the River District, I keep telling him, hey, we're all one, Tom, and he goes, oh yeah, I keep forgetting that. Kept on about it, but, no, I think kicking something like that off, that would be awesome, that would be. Just my thought. I'll leave it at that.
Episode 2, Mark Saddle.
What did Tom say? What?
Okay.
Okay.
And again, as any of you come up with ideas, just shoot me an email and we'll just add that to the list of potential ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Same thing for item C, which we're getting to next.
Now, is that where we're going right now? Okay, we're going to item C. Is item C gonna be that same thing, Mark, is gonna be handled by a city employee or a city? Or is it David again?
Well, no, so the academy will be, we're going to have to land on a specific curriculum. And so, again, we're spitballing, let's say it's 6 sessions.
Okay.
There'll be a facilitator who will be somebody on city staff,
Okay.
probably me.
Oh,
And then depending on which session we're in for that week, if they're once a week, then we would have probably with the budget discussion, we would have Kyle being co-facilitator.
I see, okay.
When we're talking zoning, probably Lisa and her staff as co-facilitators, that kind of setup.
The park thing, bring in Jen, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
okay, yeah, awesome.
Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have, you know, based on how we create the curriculum, it doesn't mean that we won't or shouldn't have other people engaged in that delivery. And that could be where the commission fits in nicely, depending on, you know, how we structure that. But I really have envisioned your role in this to be more, how do we get this concept, this awareness of this concept out to a wider cross-section of people that may benefit from knowing what the city government does, how it provides services, what it's responsible for, that may have never thought about these things in the past.
Well, a prime example of sewer and water. would be another, because, the gentleman that spoke last night at the city council meeting, he brought up some things. I never thought of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think something like that under the academy would be perfect.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's designed for, is those kinds of things, just informing people what city government services are out there, who provides them, why next door, they may have a full service city. Here we have a different makeup of service providers, just all of those kinds of things.
Cool.
Okay. The city website survey, just so I know, David is starting to basically upgrade our website, and we did a survey at the farmer's market for a few weeks. And I know some of the things that did come out of that was website needs to have more updated materials and links that will include on construction, permitting. I know the Friends of the Library said they wanted to have a direct link also. So, David, maybe you can talk about your progress on that.
Sure, this is a kind of a humorous background about this agenda item. Robin initially suggested it, and I thought, well, I didn't think there was enough data collected during, what was it, 2 Saturdays we did that. So then Robin decided, okay, we don't need to have it on there. Then I thought about it more. I thought, well, this group didn't really formally find out what the results were, except for the couple of you who are maybe there on a Saturday or 2. So I thought, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on anyway.
That surprised me because when I seen that.
After Robin suggested it, I said, we don't need it, and Robin took it off. I thought, well, I think I'll go back with Robin's suggestion to begin with. So there were 5 things that were put up there. 4 of them had like 1 or 2 people who either suggested or supported it, and those were, just to let you know, a quick link to Friends of the Library, which I don't think is directly on the city's website. It is on the libraries, which is connected to the city. Quick link to construction projects, which is one that I've been wanting to do for a while. The other one was easier access to public notices and permits. A Liberty Lake map, which I actually just obtained a really nice one today after seeing it at the city council meeting last night for the first time. And then one that had 5 people voting for it or suggesting it. Calendar of events, which we do have on there, so I'm gonna look to see, does it need to be more prominent or phrased differently, or just put somewhere else on the page. Again, that was by far the most frequent thing that people suggested it, again, out of really not too many people who responded. But like I said, 5 people put that one down. Calendar events, so they were talking like Barefoot in the Park, promoting that, movies in the park, symphony, etc.
And I think that's something that should be published January,
What do you mean by published?
published on the, I'm sorry, should be posted onto the website. That should be all put to bed in January. So people can plan ahead.
Oh, the list of things
The
coming.
events, yes, the events. Do we have a date for Barefoot in the Park? Do we have a date when the movies start? Do we have a date for Touch a Truck? Do we have, these are stuff that we have to find out from the Parks and Arts and whoever else out there. Get those dates, and I'll be more than happy to do the legwork on that and find out.
You already have, because I'll be using your list that you put together here earlier in
okay.
December.
That's what I was gonna use. That, yeah, so you can get the,
Yeah,
because the dates should be out there
yeah, I'll ask
for
around.
23.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest too, is that you use Mark's list and add on to that
Yeah.
or things, because that was so exhaustive.
I like that.
Good that what he did.
And then, who does update the website?
Myself as well as other staff members in specific departments.
Is there one particular person that oversees it?
That would be me.
Okay, the reason why, I'm just, Mark knows this probably, because he got a call from your email from Tom Solberg. There is some out-of-date information on there, okay?
One of those was, I've been seeing that particular one you're talking about for a while.
Okay, yeah.
I just went ahead and deleted it today.
Yeah, well, the commissions need to be updated, and I'll leave it at that. The salary commission was not updated, and,
Okay,
yeah, and, so I sent a note to Kyle
okay.
this morning, and he thanked me, and he was gonna look into it and get it done. The Parks and Art, or the Planning Commission, hasn't been updated since 2019, and there's some names on there of people that are no longer on there. So it just as if, we're gonna have a website, we should keep it up to date.
I'm with you.
And for the website for the mobile responsive version, we have the icons. I was just looking at it again to refresh. We have the icons for notify me and other things, and then calendars way at the bottom, or it's a menu item. If there's a possibility to either add an icon for calendar events, and then also if we scroll to the bottom on calendar on the landing page mobilely, it shows meetings as the default, and then you toggle to events. I don't know, my guess is more people are wanting events than meetings, and then on the calendar menu, it's events.
I agree.
And it has different details, and it's a little more interesting, so I would guess that a lot of the people that are saying website updates, some of them at least are looking them just on their phone. Likely.
Yeah, on mine it has, for when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, under events, it just says check out our Facebook page.
You don't get a actual calendar?
No, I mean, I have a calendar, but it only gives the meetings and not the events.
If
Yeah,
you
not
toggle,
the
is there a little thing that says events under there with a check mark? Yeah, see that bullet? I know, hit the bullet. That's what we're talking
See, people
about.
don't
Oh, yeah,
know
that's
that.
weird, right, yeah.
See that?
There's the example right there. You didn't know
Right,
that.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think it needs to jump out to events.
Yeah, just another icon at the
Yeah,
top
link-
with the
link,
other ones,
you-
yeah.
You just punch it and you go. It brings up every event that's the 2023 in our case.
Well, or even like the news flash, how there's, like, say you have something, like upcoming events, and then you have it bigger so that they know what the media, and then have the information for the additional, calendar days, so they can plan ahead and see what's coming up, and have the information for an upcoming event in the next like month.
And at this year's farmer's market, you really believe, because we have such an influx of just new people, basically moving into Liberty Way. And that was interesting on the census material that Mark, that he gave us too, to show the new people that are moving into Liberty, like, if they don't know about these events. Like, that they didn't know about movies in the park,
Mhm.
they didn't know, and, that's when we develop those flyers and, we were basically passing.
I think you would be surprised at the number of citizens that have been here for a long time that don't know. about it.
Okay, so maybe it's just.
Only because the news isn't getting out there.
Okay.
Yeah, just my observation, just through my neighborhood.
Mhm.
And, we had every year we have in August, September, we have a block party. And I was telling them about the CDC and what we were planning on, what our goal was. And I explained to them the events that were coming up in 2023. Touch a truck, what the heck is that? They didn't know.
Sure.
And these are people who've been around for 15 years. And I explained it to them, they go, God, that sounds like a great event. Boy, I'd love to go to it. I said, well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the information will be out and I will let you know, and we will let you know, So, it's just, I think from where we're starting, we're gonna be able to take it to the next level and let people know. And we have great turnouts now, but just think if more people knew about it, what the turnouts would be. It'd be unbelievable. And Winter Grow's a prime example. Okay, people know about Winter Grow now, and it took them 4 years to realize it. But a lot of people don't know that it's called Winter Grow. They just think it's a light at Liberty Lake, which is fine. That's fine. Just get out there and enjoy it. That's the main thing. But I think Bearport would can be the same thing. I think that can be a huge event. If we get it, you know, get people behind it. One other thing I was thinking about. This is down the road, this is just something, I'm just shooting it out there. The torchlight parade they have at, city of, Spokane. It's every year, it's the Armed Forces Torchlight Parade that night. Every little town has got their band and they got a float. Liberty Lake is not part of that. I think that would be awesome to have Liberty Lake's band, Ridgeline, and a float. It's just a thought. I talked to our ex-mayor about it, you know, a couple of years ago. And before COVID, and he thought it was great. Then COVID hit and, you know, the rest of the story about that. So I'm just bringing it up and just something to look at down the road. It's just a suggestion. I didn't mean to get off track.
No, actually, I think that it actually is a good segue because the next subject is ideas on making the CEC more visible and upcoming opportunities. So
And now I'm realizing we don't really have any official parade. We don't really have any parades, and we have like the boat parade, and we have, but it's like, if you're in the know, you know about the boat parade, or where does the golf cart parade go, you know?
Outline chores, yeah,
Yeah,
no one knows
exactly,
that,
but-
except
and-
unless you got a golf
And
cart.
then when you go, you're like, really, we do. I'm just surprised coming from another suburban life before in a small town, even they had their parade, more than one parade for different things.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that we don't, and that it's certainly a way to be visible.
Yeah,
So-
and I think it does. I think it fits in, you know, like I said, we're gonna talk about ideas make the CEC more visible with upcoming opportunities. So I think what we're talking about really are good ideas to at least think about, research out on how we can.
Just think of the podcast episode, David.
Exactly.
We have a new topic, parades.
And I mean, in keeping with the way we do things here, I mean, there's big parades and there's small goofy things too. And I think we have a lot of naturally kind of interesting, like the boat parade. And we have some smaller interesting things that are like niche group things that people know about. And I'm wondering if we kind of can, I know we have a list of our major events, but maybe we can come up with our list of the second tier of events
Yeah, the minor events,
That-
like the
yeah.
boat parade. like
that
the
are
golf
huge,
cart
that people
parade.
get really excited about.
Oh, yeah.
But people miss them, because I mean, you miss, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, that happened, and two things are going on at once, and you don't really know. And I think we're just now, like you said, we're getting to the point now where people know about Winter Glow. They know it's happening. It happens for more than one night. So they have an opportunity to do it or do it again. Barefoot in the Park, we're starting to get people actually have been and are returning. So
Okay, you just spurred an idea for me.
I know.
What's
You're
that?
talking about the
That-
You said the second tier / niche events. Couple weeks ago, Mark shows up in my office and he's asked me about these pictures he saw on Facebook of a bunch of witches
Right.
floating
no,
on the
that-
lake. And he wanted to know, what do I know about that? First time I've known about
Fourth of
it.
July parade, wasn't it?
So-
The Halloween witches.
Oh, Halloween witches, oh, yeah.
So I'm wondering, you know, Robin likes to use the
Never heard of
term.
it.
Yeah.
Fill me in. Here I am.
Yeah.
19 years citizen.
Well, the last 4 years, I've seen it a couple times at least,
Where's it at?
on the lake,
Yeah.
on the alpine side of things.
Uh-huh.
People get on paddleboards dressed as witches. Happy
Oh,
Halloween, yeah. And the pictures are from a
Awesome.
distance.
Is it on Halloween night or is
Well,
it?
it's in the- Yeah. I think
We can find out about that, because I want to see that.
So I'm wondering, could you people, like in the next month and beyond, come up with some of these, as you say, the
niche.
second tier events?
Yeah. The witches on the
Things
lake.
like that we could put together in a poster or a list.
Yeah,
or
they're kind of a, if you know, you know,
Right,
I think.
right, right.
sort of a-
Well, I think some of them are just special to whatever little resident and community.
Well, like-
Well, here's another example, the food truck,
Mhm.
Thursday night food truck at Riverfront, Riverfront.
Right,
Yeah,
that's-
at Rocky Hills,
Right.
there's a secondary,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And, and they also got, you know, that's where the entrepreneur girls, you know, sell their stuff.
Right.
And that should be something that we could come up with, yes, definitely.
Okay. So that's another homework.
Way too cool. Wow, you're on paddleboard.
So I think you need what he mentioned, I think you need a podcast episode on the girls, about the Ooze girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's important to have that,
Right?
yeah. And I know that sometimes, I live in,
Yeah, so let's-
We come up with 4 of them already.
Yeah, list them.
so I live in the river district, and I know that they're having.
Oh, yeah, they're having a-
That, yeah, the Christmas dog. Show,
Oh,
or-
yeah.
and so, and I know that, and I was invited, I happened to meet one of the,
I was invited.
and yeah, and so she said, let everybody know, but that's.
As a
me.
dog.
That's. me.
Yeah, that's
It's gonna be at the farm store. You know where the farm store is?
I've heard of this. one.
So anyway, so that's a niche and little secondary.
Okay.
That there's going to be an event coming up so that we capture those too, as much as the main events.
Yeah, if you can get a date pinned down for next year, great, but if you at least know first part of December or in July, I mean, at least so people can kind of look at the calendar like, oh, this is the time of year the witchers are gonna be paddling on the lake. Or the Christmas dog thing is happening, of course, sometime in December.
Santa
Or
probably
maybe
runs on a
sometime in
boat.
November.
There's probably paddleboarding Santa, I think.
December 4th, I have to look.
Probably.
I can say Christmas season.
Mhm.
Does Santa do a helicopter over us?
If he does, there'll be postings on it on the Facebook page of Liberty Lake Community. The helicopter.
I think he does a paddleboard too, I'm not sure.
Santa will be escorted by the LLPD on Saturday,
Perfect.
and that's the Santa.
Oh, the fireman, Santa.
Oh, yeah.
That could go on the list.
That could go on secondary.
So-
The firemen have this little car that goes around with Santa in the back of it. And it goes through the whole neighborhoods, all the neighborhoods.
Like an ice cream truck,
Ice
it
cream
literally
truck,
stops
yeah.
and children going out at night.
At night and sit or talk to Santa or whatever, and get candy canes and all that. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
send me the
amazing.
details, everything you know.
yeah.
And that,
I
that
had-
one does already have some sort of announcement through the city,
Yeah, through the-
when it's happening, which zone they're gonna be in, but it would
Through
be
the Valley Police Department.
Okay.
Valley Fire
fire
Department.
department, yeah. But that,
So we can get a hold of Chief Soto.
So I'm gonna point, Bill, what does Legacy Bridge have up there that might be a more secondary event?
Something.
Oh, actually, we only have, I mean, we've got an Easter event for families. We have an end of summer event for families, but they are all really just geared to and funded by the neighborhood. So I don't know that we're doing anything that is inclusive, and we don't do very much, right? We just have those 2 things each year.
They also got the Easter egg hunt at Pavilion Park every year.
yeah,
That's put on by council member Van Orman. Her husband put that, her daughter does it now, but her husband member used to put that together.
and maybe a list of clubs that, I mean, that's not necessarily events, but, you know, I know there's some semi-official-ish, probably Victory Library Book Club, but that aren't just events. But that are, again, Kiwanis or Toastmasters or whatever, maybe we can compile the ones that we already mentioned that come through the splash anyway, instead of just by event.
Yeah, even if you were to come up with a list of clubs, at least that gives a starting point to me or you or somebody else to contact those folks and say, hey, what do you have coming up during the coming year that we can help promote?
Well, that's what I did for the calendar. I got a hold of the Kiwanis, I got a hold of the Rotary, I got a hold of the Olympians. Yeah, they gave me all their listings that they have. You look at it, the rim rides on there, there's some other stuff on there too, that, you know, when I put it together, I called them.
I don't know if we have something like this already, but is there a spotlight of Christmas decorated houses or Halloween decorated houses or something that you can?
No, there isn't. That's a great idea though.
Well, I think that, I don't know, but at least around where we have Winterville, but around the river district, they've been really sort of going all out, what like their Halloween is I've never seen somebody that like.
See, that'd be awesome to know.
And
where
now
those-
it's their Christmas decorations.
Here,
Yeah, I decorate pretty. heavily.
Some people like.
Oh,
to
yeah.
some people don't.
You have to ask.
There is, if you didn't know, right over here on, it's, I think it's, what's the name of that?
Right across from the park.
Right across from the park, that street Mitchell, on Mitchell. It's, they call it, Christmas land or whatever, the whole neighborhood is just decorated.
And they do the radio station and all
It
that.
is unbelievable,
Your radio to them. Lights to the music.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard of it, but I didn't know where it was, so that would be
Yeah, right over here
something
on
neat
Mitchell.
to know on your, to your events.
I had a question about Winter Glow. Do you ever have any, thing, Kiwanis hot chocolate sales or anything like that? Is there any
Wide
other
open
involvement?
to, it's, yes, we have the Boy Scouts for opening night.
Okay,
They're gonna be there selling hot cocoa. It's open to anybody who wants to, anyone who wants to, get into the concession stand. The only problem is that the only thing that's offered up is the concession stand itself
Mhm.
and electricity. Everything else, there's no running water because it's all shut off there. So
sure.
if you're selling cocoa or something like that, but you have to go through the city.
Mhm, Okay,
Nothing through Winter Glow, it's all through the city. And that's the same if you want to do, like we have, the, Liberty Creek is doing there, and it's so damn cute last year.
Second grader. over
Yeah,
there.
they're gonna be there. They were so cute last year. My wife and I went to both of them. The second graders do their Christmas programs
Okay,
out
sure,
there.
sure, okay.
And do their, and it's really, it was, and, they had to reserve the depot and all that. And who's the, Alicia is the principal?
Yeah, Alicia also.
Alicia Olson, yeah, her and I have been talking, and we got, I think it's the 15th and 18th, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, have them go through Tate, she's the one that pretty much
Okay.
handles it all.
Great.
But if there is an organization you know of that wants to go out there, I would suggest coordinating it right now, if you're gonna,
Sure.
sell cocoa. Great time would be to coordinate it with Liberty Creek's program, because you'll have people out there. Not to say that we usually average
Sure,
between
it's, yeah,
200 and 300 people a night.
Sure.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And there is a survey this year. We have a QR code that we just finished up. And where our survey is consistent with, because we put in for a tax and hotel, monies. But we could, one of the questions was, what percentage of people come from out of town? How many people, what percentage? We don't know, so we just guessed. But, so we did a survey this year, so, people answer it, so how many miles did you travel? And it lists A, B, C, D, E, and then did you stay in a hotel? And the other thing was, how did you hear about us? And it gives you, what did you like best about? And it gives, suggestions of what, what you can answer. And then the fifth question is, what can we do better? And so kind of give us an idea on what we want to do and go from there. So, but we figure we average about 8,000 people for the whole year, because grand opening alone is about 1,000 people for the opening ceremony. So I didn't really get on tangent.
No, that was different. I just learned some things.
But yeah, my head is just,
So,
we're talking about secondaries, and I just, there was one other that just went through my head that we should get out there to the public, it's, I can't remember what it was, but they'll come to about 2 o'clock tomorrow morning.
well, give it to David.
Yeah.
David, well, so does that help David on some of the things maybe we can look at sites and talk about
Yeah,
on your podcast or your
Like
website?
for items A, B, C, and D, you're just sending your ideas on. As I tell people kind of generally like, I don't know what I don't know. So
Mhm.
once you give me something to know, then I know it and I can make something useful out of that. That's why we're relying on repos.
And then we talked too about some upcoming opportunities.
Let me add to that. I just thought that I should share this with the group. We've been looking at doing Instagram to add to the city hall's outreach efforts. I'm not sure, I don't want to publicly say how soon we will be doing that, but I have pictures to share already, so you could be seeing an Instagram presence soon. We actually have had an account, as I, not too long ago. It's been dormant for a few years. It's out there. There are probably people signed up to still follow it. We haven't given them anything to follow for a few years. I have pictures to share now. I'm ready to go.
Right.
That's good. Instagram, but that year is pretty big. Well,
This time next year, you'll be adding everyone.
He'll be running the
I don't think
Instagram
so.
account.
Absolutely. There'll be reels and stories,
Well,
highlights.
Instagram's more of the young, correct me if I'm wrong. Facebook's more of older folk.
That's
Calling me an
certainly
older
what we can-
person, is that what you're saying?
What's that?
Calling me an older person?
Nope, I'm
I
calling.
don't
You shut me like my son, my kids, as an Instagrammer.
They
No?
serve different purposes.
Oh,
They just
okay.
serve different
Okay,
purposes.
this is just what he told me, I don't,
Bridges many generations.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Just think of it as a newspaper of only photographs.
Oh, okay,
It's somewhat interactive.
good way of putting that.
Yeah, that's good, that's fun. Okay.
This,
so-
David, this
Yeah.
is Bill Norman. With regard to the Instagram account, which I think has a lot of possibilities. One of the challenges there, I believe, is that it really has to be fresh,
Yes,
almost every day, a lot, for there to be any following at all.
mhm. It will be certainly more fresher. It will certainly be fresher than it has been for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Even if you just
Okay.
open it up and have some pictures of you for that.
For sure.
It's not quite as old as the stuff I've got in my refrigerator right now, but we haven't been fresher than Instagram.
Okay, so, I think we're on, I think that was a great discussion on, that goes on number 6. Next meeting is December 21st. And I don't know how many people will be able to attend that, because I know some will be off on already Christmas vacation, or if it's worth rescheduling. Is the group.
We'll all be here.
Okay.
As of now, I'm here. That could change because I said something, but
Mhm.
I don't have plenty to spot.
So the 21st is fine to leave then, we'll have a quorum.
You want to pull the whole group?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's poll the group. Bill, will you be here?
Yes, I will.
Okay, Mark,
Nope.
I know. I'll be here.
Summer, as of now, I think so, yeah.
I'll be flying home, but I won't be.
Jennifer,
As of now.
okay.
It's what, it's winter break.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only caveat.
Right, that's what I was wondering, because I knew that, yeah, during that time, the kids are at school, and I didn't know that was gonna be a conflict. And if we need to reschedule.
It's always a conflict, Robin, but.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so let's say now, let's leave it on the 21st. And as soon as everybody finds out their schedule beforehand, and then we could readjust. We'll just leave it with that.
Mark, a question for you. What are the options if the group may want to decide after tonight's meeting to change the meeting to, for example, a week earlier? Does it need to be voted on tonight, or can we make that decision later on?
No, so I don't believe you need to motion changing the meeting as long as you meet the requirements for noticing it in advance.
So the option is there, if we have enough people who feel they can't make it for the 21st, you could propose
The 14th.
an alternative date, or even not have a meeting in December.
That would be- Yeah,
So to clarify, you could do either of those things tonight if you chose to do that. If you're not prepared to do either one of those tonight, you could wait, and as long as you're meeting the noticing requirements, then you can notice a meeting,
Sure.
prior to that, if you'd like to do that.
So if we're leaving it for the 21st tonight, what is each individual's protocol for? Like, are we emailing David and saying, I don't think I can make it that day anymore, and he's individually polling everybody else? How does that work?
So you probably need to have a deadline.
That's what I was thinking is, how about is December the 7th, would everybody know your schedule?
Is that Wednesday? Yeah.
Yes.
So my recommendation, if you're looking for that, is that if there's a concern about the 21st at all tonight, I would make a decision tonight to either cancel the meeting or accelerate it to the 14th.
Okay. Does everybody feel comfortable if we put it to December the 14th versus the 21st?
Don't look at me.
That'd
You
be
look
fine.
at me, all right?
I'll probably be in the
Okay.
Panama Canal back there.
Okay. So I was trying to,
The 14th would be good for me, I'll put it out there.
okay, 14th is good for me too.
Ask Bill.
Bill?
December.
Yeah, I'm good on the 14th.
Jennifer?
That's probably even better for you, isn't
Okay,
it? Aaron, what do you think?
let's hope Aaron's schedule fits in that well too, okay? We'll just, okay, and Terry's. And so I would say we make a motion and change next month's meeting from December 21st to December the 14th.
Oh, second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, from Bill.
Okay, okay.
Does it?
And no one was opposed?
Fine, so good. The library people meet like in the daytime, right?
I was just looking at the city calendar at the meetings.
I would say motion carried to December 14th for the meeting.
Planning commission, when do we meet?
According to the
I know,
website.
they gotta pull up right here.
Nothing.
The commission's beat at 4, so it doesn't matter.
They sometimes go 2 hours.
Oh,
Sometimes. If we
Yeah,
run
from
into,
4 to 6
typically they're scheduled 4 to 6, yeah. Are they scheduled to meet on the 14th?
on the 14th.
Okay.
Sorry, when I opened the meetings on the calendar, they're not all meetings on the same date. I'm trying to that.
You could bump it to a 6:30 start.
I wouldn't, I don't.
You
think-
could sit with
could
it.
wait.
They,
Yeah.
very seldom do they run 2 hours.
We can just.
This last meeting was just unusual because they had so much planning.
We'll just hang out.
Okay, let's leave it December 14th at 6 o'clock. So, any upcoming agenda items?
That we see, what we talked about. For December.
I just hope we can settle on a format and stuff for engagement. One of our demos, one of our platforms to choose.
And hopefully Aaron's here. His input is
Yeah,
Critical.
golden. I think I would do that as a priority next meetal.
the sooner we do that, the sooner we can start finding out what
Thing,
people
yeah.
want, getting out the academy information and all that stuff.
Mhm. Is anything else for the good of the order?
I think going to the sports can take pretty much the whole meeting. Mhm.
That's what I said.
And I would just concur with everything you guys say.
I love that about the. Okay, there's nothing else for the order.
We done?
Adjourn the meeting?
You just adjourned, Katie.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.
Let's go.
Nice.
Thanks, Ron.
I know.